Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So first and foremost, my sweet and sincere words to Kabam.
Well then get your shit together! Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum, I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together. Get your shit together.
Right, but I do have some positive news for you guys. And that is that it looks like the Venompool fight is in fact going to be changed. As one of the latter posts from Kabam Mike yesterday, basically regarding the Venompool situation, I spoke too soon. The game team is looking into changes for this fight. I don't have more information than that just yet, but we are hoping to get something out by end of the day on Friday or early next week. So based on this, I am relatively comfortable saying that it looks like the Venompool fight is in fact going to get changed. And that is good news. Well, the bad news is that it's not an instant thing, and you might need to wait till beginning of next week, which is the great thing, and which is probably where this video will end for the more impatient ones of you. However, as we carry on, we can definitely kind of dive a bit more into perhaps some of the replies here on this thread and Kabam Mike's post in general. Right. One thing I wanted to say is that in this situation, there is absolutely no need to be overly aggressive towards Kabam Mike. It's not his fault. He doesn't make the content. He does not necessarily have even played the content. But the ironic thing, I think part of the reason why the backlash is as hard as it is, Kabam did everything perfectly to set up this shitstorm. If you really think about it, should the rewards have been increased massively, you know, people would be angry, but they'd have more reason to try and push through it, and, you know, still there would be outlash, but it wouldn't be as big. But not changing the rewards of variant, and in addition to that, flat out stating that this is not an end game piece of content anymore, kind of gave also players the perfect quotable line. Because fact of the matter is that Venompool fight would be the definition of a challenge mode content. Venompool fight would be right in home in Summer of Pain. And if you would put an objective, defeat him with mercenaries, then that would be like that uber hard test. I would even argue that Venompool fight would have been probably the hardest fight in Summer of Pain. And that, however, I think will require maybe slightly more discussion where I will make another video, because the variant 8 has more problems and issues with it than just the Venompool fight. And the biggest one of them is that I don't see a single group of players who it's made for. Because progressing players, cavalier players, which the variant content is intended to, hence the focus on 5 stars, will not have the roster at 5 or 6 star level ranked up the mercenaries. Because there's only 20 champions, you know. About half of them are mediocre or subpar, and then there are about 5 that are realistically going to end up getting ranked, but many people don't have them. Especially Cavalier player level. And then the players who do have the roster don't really care for the rewards. I found myself in a very strange place that I kind of enjoy that variant for all the wrong reasons. And I understand that that is personal, and I do not advocate for this variant being good. No, I think it's a huge failure and misfire from Kabam. But that variant, annoying nature of the nodes and excessive power gain usage in the variant, the fact that the fights were challenging, and I actually found it quite interesting to play through with my account. Obviously rewards don't justify it, and I'm glutton for punishment. I don't think there are too many players out there like me who do enjoy it though. At the same time, it kind of shows that there is the ability or will or something to create challenging piece of content, but it has to have an audience. Now, the troubles of this variant would be eliminated. Should people be able to use more champions than just the mercenaries? People were able to bring in, let's say, mutants as well, because Deadpool is a mutant and there is a tie-in. It would be much, much more doable. Or B, should they make this variant star restricted for 3 or 4 star champions? Because, you know, then it's much easier to acquire them, rank them up, and much easier to actually clear the content, and you don't need to focus on ranking up random champions specifically for variant when rewards don't justify it. So it's easy to be very mad, and it's justifiably so. A lot of people will be very mad for this variant 8 because it is a fail. At the same time, I think it's important to look for ways how this piece of content, or with minimal changes, could have been a success. Some people have floated around the idea that there should be a Thronebreaker variant difficulty, which this would kind of conform to, with better rewards, and, you know, then it can be as limited champion pool, and, you know, then it would make sense. Or again, lower star levels, or bring in mutant class. There are several ways how, with minimal changes and minimal effort from Kabam, they could have made this a success. Right now, they have effectively butchered the most loved series of content in the game, because in general, when variants came out, it was a big deal. Everybody was excited, and if there was one piece of content that the player base unanimously could stand behind, and that was variant piece of content, but not changing the rewards, making as specific as it is, having the bugs on Deadpool boss, having the Venompool boss, has pretty much made 99.9% of the people either don't care or dislike this variant, which is a quite sad state of affairs. This should have been a massive W for Kabam. It should have been a massive W for Kabam. Unfortunately, now everybody thinks of right now is basically this.
Fuck off, you fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please?
And that's how it is. That's how it is. But, you know, some players still have the mentality of,
if it bleeds, we can kill it.
And that also is quite enjoyable. So for me personally, I don't think it's a good piece of content because it doesn't have an audience. And I don't think it's a good piece of content because it just doesn't know what it wants to be, and it wants what it wants to do. Strangely enough, on a personal level, not as somebody who tries to talk for community, but just me as a player, if I would be sitting in my room, I wouldn't be streaming, I think I'd actually kind of like this variant better than the previous one. Because it's harder. For me, it's more interesting and it's trickier. But that's not what variant should be. Anyways, still, we have the bright news of Venompool fight being reworked soon. Hopefully. That is it, and let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna catch you guys soon. The guides will be coming out soon. So yeah.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about